This is ST-321, code clearance blue. We're starting our approach to deactivate the security shield.
Hi, I'm Paul and I'm with my mate James, and welcome to Code Clearance Blue, a show where we discuss all things Star Wars from our home here in the UK.
We would be honoured if you would join us.
I've been looking forward to this.
Hi everybody, welcome back to a new edition of Code Clearance Blue. It's half-term holidays here in the UK, but me and Paul managed to scurry ourselves away and get a little bit of time to come and talk some Star Wars. So we hope you enjoy. Give us a quick follow on Twitter if you're so obliging, at UK Star Wars Pod. But you can also now find us on YouTube as well, at Code Clearance Blue. Same for TikTok as well, at Code Clearance Blue. Come and get involved. Paolo, how you holding up, mate? Nearly halfway through the holiday.
Day 2. Day 2, and it's the first day at home because we were out yesterday. So we haven't managed to watch any Star Wars yet. So that's no good, is it? Really?
Really
no, it's all very much Nickelodeon based at the moment. Yeah, all good. Can't complain. Yeah, looking forward to chatting today.
a little bit of a good propaganda on my end, actually, at the weekend. I promised my youngest that he could watch the first episode of Skeleton Crew to see if he would like it. And we've only got the finale left to go.
Great. That's really good. Oh,
Yeah,
you're
he's
so
really
winning.
enjoyed it. He just kept saying, "Can we watch one more? Can we watch one more?"
Nice.
So yeah,
Very
he's
good.
really
Very
taken
good.
to it. I don't think he's not like deep into it or anything, but like he's enjoyed it, and I keep catching him at certain moments, and he's like really enthralled by what's going on. So I think, he's he's getting there. But yeah, we've only got the finale to go, and he keeps saying to me like, "Oh, when can we watch it?" But he's out with his mum today, so have to be probably tomorrow, I would have thought. But yeah, no, he's done really well with it.
Excellent stuff. Really good. Well, one thing I watched the other day, which is great, and I mentioned it a couple of years ago when Obi-Wan came out, and it's called the Patterson Cut. Have you seen that? Of Obi-Wan?
No.
Basically, this fan who's sort of a bit of a film guy anyway, he recut Obi-Wan series into a film, hour and a half. And oh my God, it is probably one of the best Star Wars films you'll ever see. He's put a crawl on it. Of course he has. It's called Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Good stuff.
He's done Ahsoka as well, which I haven't watched yet. And his name's Kai Patterson. And yeah, have a quick look. It's free. You can download the MPEG-4. Like, he hasn't put it on YouTube because it'll probably get taken down. And he's like tried to cover himself with like, oh, yeah, go and get Disney Plus and all this stuff. Like, just said Disney don't sue him. But yeah, I mean, it's great. It's a really tight film, and it starts off. It's all very Vader focused at the beginning.
Right.
So it starts off with the scroll talking about Vader's, bringing up the Inquisitors and how he's got a team looking for Jedi and all that stuff. So that's what the scroll's really talking about. Then it has him in the back to tank, having lots of flashbacks, and then we flash back to him taking on Obi-Wan. That scene in the temple.
Oh yeah.
So it shows that scene, and then goes back to Vader, back to tank with a bit of Padme and all this stuff. And then it then just goes to Obi-Wan working, on Tatooine.
Right.
And it's really good, like really good, like good way of doing it, good way of sort of, brilliant. So yeah, I really would recommend that if you've got a spare hour and a half to watch it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sounds pretty good. Where can people find that again? Sorry.
So his name's Kai Patterson, Kai Patterson. Just Google that, and he's got his own website. You can just download it from his website.
Beautiful.
And he's got Ahsoka on there as well, which I haven't had a chance to watch yet, but I'll definitely be on the list.
Awesome. No, that does sound good. I do quite like fan supercuts when they just use the original material. I think we're starting to see a lot more kind of AI and
yeah, I saw one today.
Stuff, aren't we? I think.
Yeah, I saw one today, which actually, the guy said it took him 2 days to make. It's 10 minutes. And it's just like 10 minutes of this stuff, and the plot's a bit dodged, but it's like basically these three sort of one Jedi, Padawan, and a master sort of go into like a planet, lands with a ship, and it's got music under it. Like, for for like the amount of time, if people are sort of amateur level creating that stuff, then God knows what Lucasfilm could do with it. You know what I mean? I know they've got much more of a legal problem, but you know, sort of touching on the conversation we had last week, you know, like having sort of past actors come back, you know, sort of recreate, as long as obviously they pay that estate if they're not around anymore, you know. But yeah, you could easily have like a Kenobi season 2 where sort of Alec Guinness takes over halfway through from Ewan McGregor. Do you know what I mean? Like just if it's working on an amateur level, then God knows what ILM can do with it, you know.
Yeah.
They probably could do like a whole series of people that, like say Alec Guinness, you know, which would make them a lot more money than sort of trying to come up with a whole new trilogy somewhere else. I think anyway.
Yeah. No, there's definitely a route there for sure. I'm always a bit hesitant about
I
things
know
like
you are.
that.
You are.
In our minds, we know it's fake. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But still, I mean, even when we did see Leia at the end of Rogue One, it was good. You know, I mean, like it was good to see her. Obviously, it was only one shot, so and she did look a bit ropey. Don't get me wrong. Or when we saw Luke, you know, in Mandalorian, it was great, but it wasn't quite real. Do you know what I mean? But still, it was a great feeling, you know. But obviously, most of that was him in a cloak, so it sort of was quite a bit more mysterious. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
he still had a full-on conversation in Book of Boba, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
and then
this is it. I mean, like the ending of Rogue One, I do cringe a little bit when she turns around because I'm like, oh, it does look shit.
yeah,
But it looks great in the moment because you're like, especially the first time. But when you watch it again, you can kind of see that she's not really synced up to the word and everything properly. It just looks a bit like. Whereas I would have been perfectly happy for her to have said that to the captain, looking away from the camera, and just ending on that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That would have been absolutely
yeah,
fine. But
yeah,
go the extra step, I guess. But
yeah, push it.
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, so I definitely think we'll definitely see some progress there. If you're seeing it, like I say, that sort of amateur level, then
Yeah.
where the story's a bit crap and a bit, it's all a bit crap. But I mean, like, oh my God, it's so impressive considering it's taken this person probably like a couple of days to make it, you know, and a bit more like skill in story development, a bit more skill like on each, you know, not only the execution, but just the development of the character itself, you know what I mean, or the story, like would have been way better. But yeah, man, lots. I know Star Wars is a lot more popular that side of it, where people just make this stuff. So yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, great. Sounds good. Did you happen to catch any of the BAFTAs at the weekend at all, or read any of them?
Yeah, I saw. I didn't watch it, but I seen clips of it, and I saw. Our friend got a little award.
Little
Yeah,
award.
there you see what I've done there. I think he made that joke, didn't he?
Oh, did he? I don't know.
Yeah. So a few years ago, I was working. I didn't really like. Didn't really take it on board so much, but like I was on like there was a private screening of The Force Awakens, and he was sort of doing a little preamble speech. So I've got a picture of him, like me and a few mates, like, and he was a really nice bloke, and we've done some interviews with him and stuff. And I should have just done some more stuff. Unfortunately, we didn't have the podcast then. But when you just like, because I was working, so I wasn't really in the moment. But yeah, anyway, go on.
Now, of course, we're talking about Warwick Davis, just in case.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't even say.
Confused.
Didn't say his name.
Yeah, he picked up the BAFTA Fellowship Award, which is they only give out one a year, and it goes to someone who's had like a sort of a storied career in film or television. And yeah, well deserved, I think, when you think about the amount of stuff that he's done. I mean, it's probably about time he got recognised, really. So yeah, fair play to Warwick. Did you also see what happened to Mark Hamill? He had
No.
a bit of almost well. So apparently he was presenting the film, the Best Film Award, and as he came up onto the podium, he sort of got settled in behind the mic, and as he started talking, his trousers started falling down.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
It's all over the news outlets, as you can imagine.
Oh man, I've not seen any of that.
Yeah. Apparently, the podium managed to just sort of like give him enough coverage not to be completely like embarrassed or anything. But yeah, he had to pull them up because otherwise the audience would have got a look at his lightsaber.
Ah, happy days. Luke's lightsaber. There we go. Well, good stuff. Well, any more bits happened?
No, I
That's
don't
not
think so, mate. No,
not as good as that, anyway.
yeah, I've been pretty sort of all over the place with half term and everything, so that was the only thing that really caught my eye. Had some fun and games on Twitter recently. Again, people still moaning about Kai Adimundi's birthday and stuff.
Ah, brilliant.
Yeah,
Big day though, to be fair.
I mean, everyone seems to have celebrated this fucker's birthday.
Kai Monday's
Do
birthday.
you know what I mean? Oh no, now we've got to do it on a different day. What if we forget?
Oh, there we go.
All that sort of shenanigan. But no, apart from that, mate, all good from this end, I think.
Great. Well, this week we've thought we'd put a little combination of little list together of our sort of favourite lightsaber duels over the years, including some TV series if we wanted to include them. Yeah. So, how do you want to do this? Do you want to list all of them, or do you want to just go through your favourites?
Yeah, it might be better if we just do our sort of top fives and then
Yeah.
just sort of pick the bones out, I guess. So yeah, if you want to kick us off, mate.
Yeah, so I suppose like in fifth position, if we're going backwards, I've got down the Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Vader in Obi-Wan, episode 6, which I think I was tempted to have a bit higher, but it's because it's a bit newer, then I'm sort of maybe that's why it's a bit more relegated because it has. But when I watched it, it was like the way I've sort of rated this is like how I'm obviously feeling at the time, like what really got me either excited or some form of emotion, you know what I mean? And I would say, yeah, that was definitely an amazing fight because obviously it was quite long, but just the way the helmet came off, the light, like obviously the very dark planet, the way they played with the lightsabers, it sort of unfortunately puts our original one like probably not the bottom of my list, but like not in the top 5, unfortunately, even though it's very iconic and and has a huge amount of culture. And it started obviously off the whole process of a lightsaber fight. But yeah, so but just the helmet part of it and just the lines as well. Like, I think, you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did. I thought that was an amazing sort of thing. So yeah, that's my number 5 anyway.
Yeah, I that's in my list. So rather than sort of retreading over, I'll put that in at number 4 for me. Because when you say episode 6, you don't mean Return of the Jedi, do you?
No, I mean episode 6 of Obi-Wan.
I was sitting there thinking, Obi-Wan against Darth Vader. I'm pretty sure he's a ghost. I think, yeah, no, yeah, no, that made it into mine as well, purely just because I thought it was really well done. But I like the emotional heft behind it. When they do stop and talk and swap their kind of points of view again, it's like more hammered home, and like for Anakin to kind of like take more responsibility in the moment. It sounds really chilling and horrifying, but also it's kind of sad because he's saying, actually, it was kind of all my fault, but
yeah,
I'm kind of stuck now.
Yeah. And also, it does have. It's a bit like this with Rogue One has a huge impact on episode 4, and this sort of does. It's really, really like sort of the lines that we do get in episode 1. He was killed by Darth Vader. You know what I mean? Like, and that just was a bit weird. Not a bit weird in episode 4 because you just sort of get a bit. Now the fact that he's admitted to that gives that much more gravitas. Do you know what I mean? Like the fact that I killed Anakin. Which again is a bit of an obvious thing to do, but just it's really, really pushes it up. Yeah, so I think it was amazing.
I think like the lightsaber fight in episode 4 probably hasn't made either of our top 5s, but it's difficult now, isn't it? Because at the time it was groundbreaking. Everyone was like really amazed by it. These light swords and everything, and never seen anything like it. But like obviously now, given that we've had the prequels and now the sequels as well, and the TV shows, it's kind of a pedestrian fight, and given the fact that Alec Guinness was in his 60s, Dave Prowse wasn't really a swordsman at all. They kind of probably got the best that they could get, doing some minimal choreography and stuff so that everyone could do it and it looked okay.
Yeah.
But like, again, just the emotional weight behind it is, and that bit when Obi-Wan looks across and sees Luke and Leia, just like every time gets me. And that's even more so now. It used to get me in the old days, and it's a really cool moment. But like now we've had like young Leia and Kenobi, and given we know that how he goes on to support Luke like further along in his career and stuff, like that moment's just like really epic.
Yeah, because that's the moment he's been sort of waiting for. Do you know what I mean? Like, and he's sort of seen it. Like now, he's sort of it's passing over the baton as well. With Luke, not even that Luke has any idea. How he's been groomed over the years by everyone. Yes, it is. I think even Lucas, when he done the prequels, said that you've got these sort of two old blokes, sort of. I really wanted to have these young Jedi's in their prime with this young Sith, like when you saw about Episode 1, and I think so it is quite good. So so I obviously have massive sort of respect for the Episode 4 one, but I think, and I've seen, again, talking of the AI side, like, have you seen sort of the recuts and I mean, they're amazing. Some of them I've seen, absolutely brilliant. Like, just like how they sort of done Alex Guinness, and it's clever, very good.
That's the sort of stuff that we'd get all the time, though, if some of these people online had their way. It'd just be nothing but Jedi superheroes running around doing backflips and all that sort of stuff. But it's fun to watch, I'd say. Yeah, definitely. For my number 5, I went for the lightsaber fight on the wreckage of the Death Star in Rise of Skywalker.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah. I just really like it. I like the fact that Rey's kind of on the precipice of the dark side at that point. She's like really cross that Kylo's destroyed the Wayfinder. And he's just like, well, if you want to get there, you're going to have to come with me. So he kind of makes her chase him, and she's just getting more and more cross. But then when they're fighting, it's like it's just taking so much out of them because they've got the waves crashing around and everything, and the stakes are kind of so high that by the end of it, Rey's mullered, isn't she? She's absolutely knackered by the end of it.
That's right. She is. Yeah, she's proper done over, isn't she?
Yeah, she's got like no energy left, and like it's like clear that Kylo's going to beat her, but then it takes the intervention of Leia to come in, and I know that was kind of maybe forced by the situation in real life, etc. But the way that they did it, I thought was still pretty admirable. But then Rey takes the opportunity to like stab him and everything to win the fight, and then because of Leia's intervention, it's just they like both of them kind of realize at the same time, oh my god, like this isn't what we should be doing really. And then she does the life force exchange, and then legs it. But it's always really enthralling to watch that one. Quite good choreography as well, I think, as it goes through as they sort of get to the end and Rey's spent all of her energy really, but she's still trying different saber like techniques and stuff to get around him. But Kylo's going to be the victor.
No, it's a good one, that one. Sort of my number 4, I have so I've got Luke versus Darth Vader Return of the Jedi, purely because I watched probably this the most as a kid. Do you know what I mean? Out of all the like Jedi, I would watch more than probably the other two. And obviously it's the epic end, because obviously you've got a bit of Emperor in there as well. Palpatine which technically doesn't count because he's not got a lightsaber.
Well, he might do up his sleeve. We just never know.
Yeah, exactly. Just doesn't get it out. But just again, it should rate higher because it is essentially the end of the trilogy, or maybe the end of the original trilogy, but it's still in my top 5. So I just, and sort of Luke's emotional roller coaster, as it were. You know what I mean? Yeah, I just thought it was a really good, really good thing, and the fact that Vader comes back and everything. So yeah, we've seen it all a million times. I don't really need to talk about the huge amounts, but yeah, that's probably my number 4.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Seeing as we've already covered my number 4, my number 3, which ties into your number 4, is the Luke versus Vader on Bespin. And the reason I say it ties in is because for Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, they got a guy called Bob Anderson in to do the sword fighting wearing the Vader suit.
Oh, okay, yep.
So Bob was like he's like an Olympic champion fencer, I want to say, but he was also skilled in like doing broadswords and all that sort of stuff as well. So they got him in, and it's actually him in the suit doing the duels. So that's probably why they look a little bit more effusive than Episode 4's one, for example.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to your point, obviously the ending of Return of the Jedi, that duel it's the music as well, John Williams music, where it's kind of like it's not soaring highs, but it's not deep lows. It's like a real mixture of the two. So there's trying to mirror the emotions of the two characters and presence in the background. But for Empire Strikes Back, just that the whole little talk just before they get into it as well, where he's just like, "You are not a Jedi yet."
Yeah.
But Luke still bounds up the stairs and he's all eager to be like, "Come on, let's have it." And
Yeah.
Vader just he's just toying with him. He's just like, he's one-handed most of the time.
Yeah.
Manages to push him back down to the carbon freeze area and everything. And, Luke does his little jump at the end. But yeah, just to show how powerful Vader can be without really having to do a lot, and obviously later on, it gets more into a proper lightsaber battle when they get onto the ledge and everything. But yeah. And also when Luke cuts into his shoulder.
Yeah. And obviously
go on.
the big reveal as well.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, that's another reason why I put the Rise of Skywalker one in my top 5 as well, because it leads on to that scene with Han and Kylo.
Yeah.
Which is like really, for me, is really powerful. I love that scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think so. Like sort of the whole Bespin lightsaber fight for me is at number 3, just because we get to see Vader get a little bit hurt as well, because he gets the chop on the shoulder, which is like, oh, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's for me is there, and shout out to Bob Anderson. Yeah.
Nice. So I've got down in Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan versus Anakin, because I mean it's a great. I've not put this one in because it's not technically a lightsaber. So Yoda versus Palpatine is by far probably one of my favourites, but obviously he doesn't get his lightsaber out, so technically doesn't fit our top 5. But obviously simultaneously in the cut, Obi-Wan and Anakin is going up, which is great as well. But I think it's purely because they are so epically good in this. You know what I mean? Which again, I think George Lucas sort of said at the time, how they've got this sort of 2 primed Jedi Knights really going at it, and they do really go at it. Sort of juggling Mustafar in the background as well on all sorts of things, and and then the way it ends as well, which is amazing. The way Obi-Wan sort of wins, and and obviously accompanied by Duel of the Fates, which is amazing as well. So yeah, I think it's very long as well, isn't it? It's a very long scene because of the way they sort of test each other's skill, both with the lightsaber, with the Force. One has an advantage, the other doesn't. Then they have a little fisticuffs. Proper fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be my number 3.
I think I'm right in saying that it's the longest sword fight ever committed to film, I think.
Really?
Yeah, to date, obviously someone might beat it in the future, but I'm pretty sure Lucas came out and said that they timed it, like, obviously without taking out all the stuff that happens in between it, and it's like, it's the longest one that's ever been committed to celluloid or digital, as they now say. But,
yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty impressive. Yeah, I thought about putting that in. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't really. It's hard, isn't it, when you say, "Oh, what's your favorite X from Star Wars?" Because there's so much
Yeah,
stuff going on.
yeah, and again, you just sort of the different emotion. Like this is just purely done on like me sitting there in front of the TV or the cinema, and how like excited I'm getting. Do you know what I mean? I think obviously Palpatine Yoda really helps as well, and that's probably not right for this because if it was an isolated scene, but because it is intercut and it's all coming to a massive head, and the trilogy essentially is coming to that moment as well. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot on it, so it just feels a lot more epic and bigger than it is. A bit like the Jedi one, really. That sort of does the same thing. It's not just a fight like you get with other ones, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like the Yoda Palpatine fight was going to be. I was going to do like a little special mention section.
Yeah,
And I was going to chuck that in there just purely because we get to see Palpatine at full Sith.
yes,
You know, he's going absolutely crazy. He's got his lightsaber. It's like, you know, we know him as a Sith Lord, but most of the time he just walks around with his cowl down over his head, just sort of talking very quietly to people to get them to do
yeah,
things.
yeah.
Whereas
See the scene, unfortunately, the scene before that where he takes on Mace Windu and a couple of others, I did think wasn't great, which is really annoying because it had such setup. Do you know what I mean? Like, but obviously, again, Samuel Jackson is Samuel Jackson. You know, and Ian McDermott, like we're not like I remember again, like not that they put their excuses up. There's a lot in the behind the scenes where Ian McDermott's like sort of saying, "Oh, I'm not a swordsman. George just came in and asked me, can I wing the lightsaber?" You know what I mean? And like it is unfair, like on them to go, But he obviously has a very distinctive style. The way obviously he does that spin mid air and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, with the Yoda scene, he does use it a little bit. He's like saying, but a lot of that is just force, isn't it? It's just his electrical sort of thing. So
yeah, of course. I think like the
I didn't
style
really.
of lightsaber tactic that he employs, I forget what it is called, but it's like it's very much just using the lightsaber as like a spear
Yeah,
or a dagger, and that's like that kind of goes against what the Jedi do, where they actually use it as like a proper sword, and they like very defensive moves as well as offensive and stuff.
yeah,
And I think Mace Windu is like one of the only Jedi that practices a lightsaber form that's very close to what the Sith employ.
right.
Which is why a lot of it is kind of like them close quarters, because like Windu's like, if I sort of move a bit out of range, he's got a chance because he'll just slash and poke and stuff. Whereas if I get up close and keep him there, like I feel like I could be strong enough to overpower
Yeah.
him. Now this is a big debate. That did Mace Windu win that fight, or did Palpatine let him win once he knew Anakin was on site?
Yeah, to twist it. It's a good shout. Good shout, because Mace Windu is obviously very powerful. It could have been a little bit of both. You know what I mean?
Because Anakin comes in and says, "Whoa, you can't kill him. You're a Jedi."
Yeah, Jedi, you know the rules. Yeah, so good shout. I don't know. One of those, isn't it? One of those.
I think Palpatine was playing him on a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think if Anakin hadn't shown up, I think Palpatine would have gone full lightning, like at some point.
Do you think it was weird that they kept Anakin so close to him when they knew that he was getting suckered in?
Well, I mean, Windu did tell him to stay at the temple, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. But I mean, like, just before that and everything, I know that obviously Palpatine asked for him, but and I suppose they tread on eggshells with Palpatine because he is obviously the Chancellor, and they don't want to look like they ever intervened. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he does have a lot more sway than they think. But yeah, but he's an unelected Chancellor. He's just there as the war carries on. But yeah, so I don't know. It's yeah, it's a shame that wasn't as good as it could have. But then obviously it sets up Yoda and Palpatine so nicely that it's just an amazing, great way to start a scene where he just comes in, does his guards. He's just sitting there at his desk doing some admin.
Well, it's a busy job running the Senate,
That's it, yeah.
No
Did you
wonder
pay those bills?
No wonder he dissolved it by the time of New Hope.
Yeah.
He's like, just fuck all that paperwork off. I'm in
Oh,
charge. Got the Death Star.
so much. Yeah, so that was sort of the Anakin Obi-Wan. What's your next one?
Yeah, very good. I mean, I feel like we're both heading towards the same number one.
Possibly, yeah.
So I'll just do a couple more honourable mentions just to get them in there. One of the ones that almost made my list but didn't was Ahsoka against Balin in Ahsoka
excellent.
Series 1.
Yeah.
The fight particularly where they have on the stone circle where they're sort of like, that's kind of the launching pad to get off to the other galaxy or whatever. Just really love that. I'm going to rewatch it again, actually. Just love the fact that obviously Ahsoka's Ahsoka. We know she's a good swordswoman and everything, but like Balin was just like, again, a bit like Vader on Bespin at the start. Like, he's not trying his hardest, but like Ahsoka just can't get through, and he's just like, just wearing her down, and then he starts getting a little bit more fluid, and then like obviously he knocks her off the edge and stuff. But I thought that was really great, and what a lovely legacy for Ray Stevenson to leave behind there, I think.
Yeah, really good. Yeah.
Really good. And I was going to mention Yoda and Palpatine as well, but we've done that. So obviously there's only really one number one in there, let's be honest.
Were we on number? Yeah, go on. What's your number one?
Well, it's got to be in it. Torah!
Yeah, exactly. It's got its own soundtrack.
It's got to be in it. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan against Darth Maul.
That's it. It was an amazing. I mean, 25 years or however many years, I can't remember how long we had to wait. And it was in the trailer, and they, hired, Ray Parks, who is an amazing gymnast, fighter, martial art. You know what I mean? Like all these flips in the air and everything else, and bringing in the trampolines, and it was just. There's just one shot in particular, when that wide shot where they both they're in that sort of room where he obviously falls down, and it's just an amazing scene. Yeah, really. I think again maybe the anticipation really helps it, the weight, and not only that, the weight in the film as well for it.
I mean, this is it. I mean, a lot of these things are going to be judged on kind of personal preference and emotion and stuff. One person's Duel of the Fates might not necessarily be, someone's Last Jedi in the Red Room or whatever. But just the whole anticipation of knowing that we're going to get to see the two Jedi and the Sith like go at it hammer and tongs was like, just something that we just spoke about after we saw the trailers and everything. We were like, oh, this is going to be like so amazing. And then to your point that you said earlier, George was like, we need to see some Prime Jedi going at it, and then the way that it pans out, obviously it starts off that way, and Maul gets himself right in the middle, and it's like coming from left and right, and they're moving around the hangar bay and everything, and it looks all really cool. But then later on, the use of the force field doors and everything to separate them out was like a really cool way of like getting them separate so that Maul could take them on one then.
Exactly. Also to slow the scene down as well, because it is so rampant that you kind of, it's a bit like, with the Anakin Obi, that just goes at the same pace for ages. You know what I mean? But I think why this again helps this is that because we have these breaks, it stops it and the music kind of dumbs down. So we've got to recreate that tension again, and then it sort of goes off again. You know what I mean? So it really stop starts, which I think always helps with these things, and then the fact that he's got a double lightsaber as well, which was very new at the time, so he can take both of them on. I just don't, it was amazing. But did you give so was that Ahsoka your number two, was it? You didn't say number two.
Just a special mention. Did I? Yeah, it was just a special mention.
You missed one.
Have I missed one?
Because mine, I think you got too excited, went straight to number one.
Oh, what was your number two?
My number two was Yoda versus Count Dooku.
Oh, right.
That was my number two.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because the only reason was because again we'd never seen Yoda in that situation, And I remember just sort of laughing in excitement watching episode 2
Yeah.
and just going, this is amazing, because he's just bouncing around like this little frog, and unfortunately doesn't kill him, which is a shame, because he sort of escapes. But yeah, he sort of saves Obi-Wan and Anakin, don't they? Who are both knocked out.
Yeah, that's yeah. That bit in that fight for me is when Anakin gets the 2 sabers, and then they cut through the electric cord and it cuts the lights.
Yeah.
You can see the flashes of blue and red. And
Yeah.
I just wish they'd made that a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Because it's so evocative, and the imagery is so powerful. But yeah, I mean, to see Yoda going full ham with a lightsaber was really exciting at the time. My number 2 is Obi-Wan and Anakin against Dooku in Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
At the beginning, that was my favorite, because obviously you've got Palpatine's in the background, just like he's got an accumulator, and he's like needs 1 more volt.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And he's just there going like, oh, come on, you've got to kill him, you've got to fucking kill him.
Yeah, and
Obi-Wan gets mullered, and he's kind of like, you can see it, Palpatine's like that, and Anakin's like, oh.
Yeah.
But then that whole bit where like Dooku's got Anakin up close, and he's just like, you've got anger, you've got fear, but you don't use them and stuff. And then Anakin like breaks off and he starts like giving it that one. And yeah, no, I really like that. That was my second place. Sorry, I left my list over. I actually wrote it down, but I left it over there.
No, that's cool. Yeah, that is good, because obviously, that's where we know that, and the sort of surprise to Dooku as well, that Palpatine just turns on them, even though it's not really a bit of a surprise. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you're Sith boys. You know what's going to happen.
Well, you know what you're signing up for, son.
Because either you're going to kill him, or he's going to kill you. One of the two.
Yeah, that's true. So no, really, really, really good. And also as well, just to touch on it, like when we find out in Rise of Skywalker that Rey's descended from Palpatine, if you go back and watch The Force Awakens, the way she uses the lightsaber against Kylo, there's a lot of Palpatine-esque movement in there, and I think that was a little seed that was sown at the time.
Nice, yeah.
Just the way she uses it. I know she's more of a street fighter up to that point, using like her staff and stuff, but
yeah,
she comes at it a lot with a lot of overhead, and Anakin does it as well in Revenge of the Sith. When Dooku says that to him, he breaks off, and the first thing he does is he slashes over the top, which is a move that the Jedi don't really use, like in that way, like straightforward, just like chop. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just think there's definitely, I think there was more to Rey's character than a lot of people like to allude to, when they're building things up like that. But no, I just Duel of the Fates at number 1, obviously probably an obvious pick, but I mean, you can't really go wrong, can you?
No, you can't go wrong with it. It's so good, and like I said, it's sort of the anticipation of it and everything. But yeah, it's amazing. So I think that is a worthy number 1. So yeah, happy days.
Just to put a cap on that, you remember the edit suites at Farnborough Uni? I took my copy of Phantom Menace in when I had some spare time, and I cut the Duel like as a one-piece thing.
Yeah.
So I had it as like a 7-minute long just like clip of just every bit of the Duel put together, and then over the top I put the Cradle of Filth cover of Hello Be Thy Name by Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
it's like a really rip-roaring like metal song, basically. If you haven't heard it, go and check it out. It's a really good cover. But the song finishes right just as Obi-Wan puts the lightsaber back in, and he stands at the edge of the thing, and before he rushes to Qui-Gon, and it just ended so perfectly, and I was just like, oh yeah, that's good. And I think
amazing.
I might still have it somewhere on a tape.
Of course you have.
Somewhere, mate. It's somewhere in a dusty box. Like,
mate, you got all the old stuff. I love it.
I know. I'm gonna have to try and find it though, because then we'll have to digitize it and put it up.
Definitely stick it on somewhere. Happy days.
Sued by Disney, Lucasfilm, Cradle of Filth, Fire Maiden. Just get sued by everyone.
Yeah, excellent. Good stuff. Well, there we go. Happy days. Well, that was our sort of quick top 5 in half term.
Beautiful in half term. You're lucky you got a show this week, folks. To be honest.
Teacher, yeah.
Brilliant.
Good stuff. That concludes another little episode. Thanks very much for listening, watching, and we'll catch up next week with some more shenanigans.
Yeah, definitely will. I hope my T-shirt won't get us cancelled.
Yeah, it's getting cancelled. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. At UK Star Wars Pod on Twitter again, at Co-Clearance Blue on YouTube and TikTok. Come and get involved. We're just slowly getting to grips with TikTok, aren't we, mate? I'm starting to put a bit more up there now.
Yeah, getting there.
Getting there. It's all good. But hope you enjoyed that. Please let us know what your favourite lightsaber duels are in the comments on any of the social media. We'd love to hear your thoughts. But for now, on behalf of Paolo and on behalf of myself, say may the force be with you all.
Starting our approach, deactivate the security shield.
Security deflective shield will be deactivated when we have confirmation of your code transmission. Stand by.